How's it going, everyone? Coach Samuel here. And man, it's been a long time coming, but I'm finally back. I'm grateful that the doctors had just cleared me. If you guys want to know more information about that, you can find it on my personal channel. I'll have a link in the video so you guys can check that out. And today I just wanted to, make my comment, just talk about today's game. This could be a little bit of a rant, a little bit of insight. But yeah, I just want to jump right in it. And if you guys find this information useful, you can hit the like button and you can hit the subscribe button to follow my channel. All right, let's get it. Alright, y'all, so let's talk about today's game of basketball. Like I said, I've been out for a while, haven't had the opportunity to train, coach, but I do have the opportunity to kind of sit and watch some basketball, whether it be, highlights, or actually, full games. So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about just what I've been noticing and what direction the game is going. I think what sparked my interest to do this video is the fact of like how the USA team during the Olympics, like how they've started, and how they've been playing as a whole. Now, a little disclaimer, like I haven't actually watched any basketball from the Olympics, so I don't have the full story. The only thing I really know is who's on the team, and then some of the comments that go into from the people that have watched the game, and how I think it's affecting it as far as long term goes. Team USA has a lot of isolation basketball players, and it shows on how well they mesh. You know what I mean? So for example, like if you got a couple of guys who are the main guy on their team, which is what USA basketball is like. A lot of these guys are a part of their big three, but the way it translates to team basketball, it doesn't work out so well. I mean, eventually, you're gonna get a couple of guys that are just gonna go off and do their thing, but the time it takes for a group of guys to mesh, in my opinion, is a lot harder today than it was, when the Dream Team had hit the scene. And what's being put out on the internet, what people are seeing on TV, is watering down the foundation of basketball. A lot of these kids are wanting to train just ball handling, or their layup package. You got the jelly layups, and granted, like I said, those things are fun to look at, but how well does it translate to the game of basketball? In my opinion, it doesn't translate all that well. Again, it's exciting to look at, but you're missing so many key concepts to making you a well-rounded basketball player. And like I said, long term, is getting a lot harder for teams to be teams. And you see it at all levels, maybe not so much at the college level, but high school, professionals, you're getting a lot of guys standing around waiting while someone does the one-on-one isolation. So again, kids, trainers, coaches, we have to do a better job. If we want this game to thrive, we have to do a better job of what we're feeding these young athletes when it comes to the game of basketball. Can you can still be the guy, the ISO, but there may be a situation where you're not the guy. Or where you go to a team and they already have 2 or 3 guys that get all the touches, So if you're not getting the touches, how effective are you? Like, can you do more than dribble the ball? Can you do more than just score? Can you set a good pick? Can you pass and can you cut to the basket? Can you score without the ball? You know what I mean? Can you knock down an open shot? A lot of these things get neglected into becoming an overall basketball player. One term, and I can't stand this term because it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. And that's called a two-way player. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, two-way player, like, this isn't football. You're a basketball player or you're not. And they use that term like, oh, he can play, I think specifically Kawhi Leonard, I hear that a lot with him. You play offense and defense, and great offense, great defense. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you should be playing offense and defense regardless. Like, that's your role as a basketball player. It's not like football where offense plays and then a whole new set of guys come in for defense. Like, that term would make more sense on the football field versus he's a two-way player on the basketball court. Like, it should just be you play offense, you play defense. Like, now you're a well-rounded basketball player, And so, again, there's just certain concepts that aren't being taught, and it's watering down the foundation. A lot, I understand that the game has changed, and it's going to continue to change. And I understand at the professional level, it is entertainment, but even going back to the situation with the Olympics, like, okay, now you're trying to win, and it's like, if you're only good at isolation basketball, you're not going to mesh well with a ball club, and I can even go to, some well-known high school basketball players who were top recruits for On the Ball Is Life or the Hoop mixtapes, Jelly Fam, all these great athletes who you just don't hear about anymore once they get to the college level. They may have spent most of their life, most of their basketball career training to be the guy of the team, And then when you move up to a program, college program, and you got guards, or you got players that have been there for a couple of years and understand the system, you being the guy in high school, how can you translate well and still get minutes, productive minutes, when you're going to a team that already has a core group of guys, or the guys that do get all the main touches? How well are you going to translate if you're only an isolation player? Now, if you add, if you're an isolation player, but you can shoot, you can move well off the ball, and now you have more weapons in your arsenal, right? And so, and even going from college to the pros, you may have a good high school career, college career, but it's like, again, if you only expect to, I'm gonna be a franchise player who gets all the touches, I'm gonna be a part of the big three, of our franchise, and you don't get that opportunity, how well are you going to, or how are you going to translate what you do to a team that already has that if you don't do much else? One guy I think of is Austin Rivers. He was a great scorer, high school, college, and I'm sure he can, even turn it up now if he gets placed in the right opportunity. However, it's like every team he goes to, there's already somebody there that gets those touches, And so with his career, he's just been bouncing around, So if I was close with Austin and, I could keep it real with him, it's like, if you want to find a solid situation, hit that catch and shoot three and be a solid defender. You got guys in the league that don't put up numbers, hardly any numbers at all, but they make the non-stat sheet plays. It's another term that you hear. you know, aggressive defense, playing the passing lanes, diving on the ground for loose balls. And you got guys like PJ Tucker, just won a championship, was great at that. You know, guys like Patrick Beverly, you know, who are those kind of cutthroat guys that are staying in the league and getting decent contracts because they're able to fill the role of the team versus, oh, this role is filled, so I can't do anything else, or I choose not to do anything else. If you develop someone to be a well-rounded basketball player, they can fit well no matter what system they play in versus, oh, I'm only going to train you this way, this way, this way, and then they get into a situation at the highest level. Now they're not able to mesh. Like, oh, someone's already a scorer, or someone's already a slasher, someone's already this. Now, you know, I think it's a lot easier for someone who's developed as a well-rounded basketball player to be placed in a situation and then figure out from there what their niche is versus someone developing one way their entire life and then getting into a situation, it's like, I don't know where I fit in. You know, in the 2019-20 season, there were 529 registered players. You got injuries, you got guys coming from the G League. There's 529 registered players, right? That number is small compared to the millions of people who have dreams of being a, you know, NBA athlete. You know, so 529 compared to millions. Now, if you're training to be a top 3 guy, let's say we're assuming every team has a big 3. Let's assume every team has a big 3. 30 teams in the NBA. Narrowing it to 3 guys who get all the touches or get most of the touches. Right? That number goes from 529 to about 90 players that you're trying to squeeze into to be that guy or that isolation guy, right? So 529 dropping down to 90, it's a lot harder to make that 90 spot versus the 529 spot, the registered, you know, in 2019-2020 season. But yeah, I mean, that's my rant. You know, let's do a better job of training these athletes to be basketball players, not shooters, not passers, not this, not that, but understanding the game as a whole so they can be productive in no matter what system that they're in. All right, so I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. You know, hit me up on the comment section on any of the social media platforms. And just, you know, let's talk. You know, I'm not, like I said, everything I say is not law. You know, just my opinion on things, what I've witnessed. I know I don't know the full story on a lot of situations. You know, so if y'all have some information, you know, educate me. I'm open, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next video. Like the video if you found it useful. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see y'all later.